The Lynx is an incredible performance electric unicycle. However, none of the available seats ticked all of my boxes. That's why I'm so stoked to announce the custom Jono Seat. Coming up in this 4-part video.
Jono Seat. Excellent. It's as if the seat was made for you.
It's amazing. It's like sitting on a cloud.
The first test on the seat was so good, I was excited and got to tell you about it. From the Jono Seat, it's been in development for about 4 months. So I got 2 main versions that I recommend here. I want to be fully customizable, practice this position. Let's go through some setup and drill. Welcome everyone, I'm Jono, and in this 4-part video, I'll be covering a quick and easy DIY option for his seat. And then I'll be getting into a review of my own Jono Seat. And I know it's a bit strange reviewing my own product, but trust me, no one's more critical of it than myself. I'll be pointing out all the issues that I see. And yeah, so basically this video is promoted by my own seat. And you know, I just love the creative process, and you know, that's often why I do the YouTube videos. And of course, I'd like to earn a bit of cash on the side from the Jono Seat. It's been in development for about 4 months and 2,000 kilometers. So lots of revisions and testing's gone into this one. So firstly, why do I ride seated? Well, it just allows me to ride long distances without taking a break. I can sit and stand, just makes it really comfortable to relax my legs, give my feet a break, and I just enjoy riding that way the most. Plus, if you're a high-speed rider, it gets you down out of the wind, far more aerodynamic, saves the battery as well. Also, I find on slippery ground, mud, sand, lowering your center of gravity by seating just really improves the stability. Plus, you get the 3 contact points. Oh, here comes a bit of a water section. Holy shit! And then it's just really nice to, chill at traffic lights, take a seat, or if you're changing your gear, taking a drink of water. Really versatile. And lastly, I just enjoy it. It's about half of my riding, particularly in the faster sections, and I'm in a rather regional area, so there's lots of faster sections. Alrighty, so I've tried many different seats, V11, the Pattern, the Sherman S, tried a few different DIY options like even just a yoga block, and yeah, didn't be too happy with all of those, so that's why I put a lot of thought and effort into this one. It's kind of funny because I did make a video originally for the Sherman S seat, and it's this one here, and I was quite happy at the time, but I just retried it, and oh my god, it's awful. It was so hard, and the wedge shape felt like it was splitting me in half. And you can just see it's made out of the cheap EPE packing foam that you'll get with your EUC box. So come a long way since then. So if we come over to this one, this is what you can do really easily for yourself. No sewing required. So what you do is just grab some of your packing foam and then head down to your local foam shop, and I have a bulk bin of offcuts, so you can pick yourself up really cheap offcuts, and then you shape it to how you like, glue it together with some barge cement or contact glue. I even use shoe glue on this one, I believe. And then your local fabric store, pick up some vinyl, and you just fold it best you can. Use some double-sided tape to secure the flaps here, and then just glue it down. It's an interesting thing because you can be too comfortable, meaning it's more of a couch. You lose feedback on the wheel and less control. So that means you can sort of float around in different positions. It just doesn't feel very safe because you can accidentally sit in a weird spot and it doesn't really lock you in. And I didn't have a solid base, plus the no rear handle, which meant it kind of rolls around unsecured. So let's get into the Jono Seat main review because I revised all of those things and improved it a lot. So let's grab it. And hopefully you can see the difference. So straight away, nearly professional upholstery. So I went out and found a friend with a family member, with a professional industrial grade sewing machine, teaching myself. So that gives that the heavy duty top stitch. That's a thick thread, very strong. And this is a marine grade vinyl, so really high wear and UV resistant. So this is the Kydex thermoplastic on the rear, so it's moldable. Oh yeah, so this is made for the Lynx, of course, and you can just easily remove the base. I call that the Lynx adapter with these 4 screws. And that means it's flat. So you can attach it to something like a Sherman S, or I haven't tested other EUCs, but I'm sure you can make it work. And that moldable thermoplastic, you heat it up and you can wrap it around any handle. So hopefully it'll work for other EUCs, but you've got the Velcro at the front there. So it just Velcros down, and the idea is that it pivots up and you can easily access the trolley handle. Plus, I've designed it so that it'll easily separate in a crash. And yeah, ask me how I know that. On track day, I had a massive crash. Let's pace out the skid marks. So starting from here, 1, 2, 20, 21, 22 meter slide on my gear. So I noticed the seat go launched, and it's up there, another.
Yeah. Holy shit, you can see the roof from your fucking arm.
Maybe doing 70 through a corner, and with this Kenda tire, just the lean angle was insane, and I was in an unstable cornering position because you got to be in the front of the pads with that tire. So I just got instant wobbles mid-turn, threw me off in about 1 second. So at those speeds, I slid myself about 22 meters, and as I was on my back sliding along, yeah, I saw the seat, it shot off over my head. So the wheel went an extra about 10, and the seat about 10 past the wheel. So took a huge beating. This is the one I was wearing on the track day, and this is a lighter vinyl, so not as high quality. And you can see the damage is really minor. Just a little bit around the plywood base here. I did stitch it there, so, and you can see that the wood is just a little bit too protruding. So in the new revisions, I've set that base back a little bit to improve that situation, but totally usable after that crash. So good durability, even with the lighter vinyl, which I'm not using anymore. Plus, what about the water resistance is my question. So I've been riding in lots of rain, in the off-road rugged conditions, getting mud on it. So it's taken a beating, and it doesn't hold, it's not waterproof, but it's quite water resistant. So no traumas there. And speaking of off-road, it's so comfortable that you can just ride seated off-road, which is pretty insane. So yeah, I've gone for a blend of comfort and performance. So, you can go for a couch, but then I was saying you're losing performance on your wheels. So this is a good blend. That's what I'm going for. So what that means is that when you look from above, it doesn't protrude past the shell too much, about 170 millimeters width. So you don't feel it on your knees. Tape it at the front here. So when you're under hard or just accelerating and your knees are coming forward and leaning over in a turn, you aren't going to hit the front of the... All right, so I forgot to talk up the creation process a bit. So it's really well supported with the handle back here. So that's why I really opted for this. Now, you do want a piece of tape just on your handle there so that it doesn't scratch it up. I mean, it's fine, but you'll just get scratched up otherwise. Originally, I was planning to do a 3D printed connector piece, but just the additional cost and the lead time was too much. I got the 3D print file, so let me know in the comments if you'd like that uploaded somewhere. Beyond that, I have a higher density foam here, and that gives you the initial rise. So I can adjust that based on the rider height, and then a high density foam over the top of that. And I've spent a long time shaping and contouring this perfect, so that's what a lot of the testing went into it. Alrighty, I just want to go over the installation process quickly. So you have to attach this foam piece. It will just have double-sided tape, and then this has Velcro with the adhesive at the front for it to stick down onto. Now, when it comes to sizing, I didn't want to cover the display, but I found you need to have it forward just a bit to get the weight over in the right center part of the Lynx. So you do cover the the front, the display and the button's just a tiny bit there, but it's well worth it to have the good, balanced position. Alrighty, so I want to go over the sizing quickly. So I want to know that you can stand over your wheel like this, flat-footed, and so that's the crotch height here. So I'll measure the height from the ground to the top of the seat, and then the other position is to the top of your knee here. So you want to, be able to bend over the wheel a bit like this. So if your knee is too low, you're going to be hitting the top of the seat as you're cornering, which, you might not care about, but that was my consideration. And then the final point is to measure your sit bone width. So I'm 11.5 centimeters for my sit bone. The reason you do that is you don't want to be too wide here, because the full width is 17 centimeters, and we want to make sure you're positioned well on the seat. I can make that adjustable, a bit wider if you're a different width. So trying to work with a lot of customization on this one. It's still really comfortable, as I've seen from the testimonials. So let's jump into those.
Jono Seat. Excellent. As if you just sort of mold into the seat. It's really hard to describe. It's as if the seat was made for you. Like, it's so good. Like, you sit down and it's soft but like firm. But as you're leaning into it, you're not sliding off. You know what I mean? Like, the seat's there and you kind of just, like I said, like it's molded for you, but good shape, goes well. And I thought, because I'm a bit short, as you can see the height difference, the helmets make me look taller, but I'm really short.
And
I thought the seat would be too tall for me, but no, that's perfect. I'm kind of jealous, to be honest.
Just another, what do you think of it, Luke?
It's amazing. It has you riding at the right height. You're not sitting too low on the wheel. It's very, very soft. So any bumps that the suspension, which already handles, the seat would then just absorb anything left over. It's like sitting on a cloud.
Yeah.
And very stable. Doesn't feel like it's going to roll off and detach. Taking corners. It's clearly, there's still care put into it. Yeah.
Alrighty, cheers. Alright, what about seated acceleration? Well, I was worried the rear grab handle wouldn't be accessible, but no problem, it doesn't slip off when you're doing that. And when you want to brake, you just can lean back, and that's why I like the longer seat, because you have something to lean back onto, or you can scooch back a bit. And lots of control through the turns, the seat doesn't roll. And it's not too high, so it gives you plenty of stability, because you're low center of gravity. So using the front grab handle while seated, pull up for this turn, lean through, and we've got a bump this turn, so just stay seated with that, no problem. No rear handle this time, and yeah, lots of support during those acceleration and turns. Here's a faster one. And then we'll do a hard brake. That's why I want the front handle to be clear. So that was really hard, and the Lynx gets really soft towards the end, so 42% pedal threw me off then a bit. But you can see I was well below the seat, able to do that hard emergency brake. Firstly, let's evaluate the standing performance. So it was a big goal of mine that it doesn't hit my knees, and I've achieved that by making it narrow enough. And you can see when I'm carving, doesn't really touch. If I clamp my knees together, it will just touch the seat, but it's very insignificant. And I've got that taper at the front, meaning it doesn't catch my knees when I bring it forward, like so. And then looking down, you can see the display quite clearly. The buttons are accessible, so good for reading out the display. So let's get into the seated. Alrighty, so when I first sit down, I find the height's quite good, but it could be even a bit higher for me, but you know, I don't want to go too overboard because yeah, I don't want to impact that standing feel too much. But you can see my knees are not too bent. So yeah, if you go higher, it'll relieve that pressure somewhat. Honestly, I do feel a pressure point on my sit bones, but that's why I've gone for a softer seat and put so much effort into it. But yeah, it's just, I'm a bit too skinny, so I don't have enough meat on my bones. That's why it's great to get those testimonials, because I needed a second opinion. All right, let me jump in here and qualify what I'm talking about with the discomfort. So I've always been a bit lean and had trouble sitting on anything. For example, this cushioned bar stool hurts my back end. So I've just always been a bit too skinny, and that's an issue I've had. And obviously it's still a really comfortable seat, as you saw from the testimonials, but it's just a particular issue I'm having with being so skinny. And yeah, that's what I'm talking about by testing it all the time. I try different shapes and foams just up in the house. And I've added, since that video, a extra intermediate blue medium foam. So I'm going for triple density these days. And with this sizing, I just wanted to mention with the sit bone width, this is how you measure it. So just get a piece of cardboard, sit on it for a minute, and then measure the center of the two indentations and just measure that. So mine's about 11.5 centimeters. So you can you know, dial in your width for these seats. All right, and the other thing that I didn't really go over was the leveling foam. That's probably the jankiest part of my build. And this goes onto the top of the Lynx, and this one sits on the Lynx adapter, and that's got a cutout for the handle. And that's pretty hard to cut, so I've built a hot wire cutter to make that cleaner in the future. Cheers everyone, back to the video. All right, so you obviously can have a lot of fun riding quick seated as well. So let me know below in the comments if you'd like a more advanced seated riding video dedicated. But for now, I'll kick it back to the beach. Now, let's jump into the ordering process. So I got two main versions that I recommend here. These are about 10 centimeters tall. So these are pretty similar, but this is a saddle shape, meaning it has a little dip in the middle, very subtle, but just enough to lock you in front to back. And that's a great option, just gives you a bit more security. However, if you sort of want to float around in your seat a bit more, you know, jut forward for acceleration or scooch back for braking, then you probably want, this is just a flat surface. So those are the two main options. And of course, the whole idea of the Jono Seat is that everyone's a bit different size and requirements, so I want to be fully customizable, and that'll be reflected through the ordering process. So the other thing is that, you know, there's so much to the feel of this, just even how tightly the vinyl is pulled. So the back is a bit tighter than the front, meaning I've sloped it down stiffer at the rear, and I found that just gives a really good feel and control of the seat. All right, so yeah, the first page is the welcome page, then the information page, then you can choose the shape and the foam selection if you want the saddle shape, special requests if you want to change anything, and then the seat cover section. So yeah, I want to see some good color matching. You know, you can go all just one color if you like, or I can do the two-tone here, and I can change the top stitch. This is the top stitch here and around the back. Might be able to see here. So you can make that pop as well. And this is what I can do at the moment. So batch 1 is only going to be 4 units, guys. And I'm doing it at half price as a launch special. So first in, first serve. And yeah, lots of customization. Then we get to the Lynx connector. So if you're getting it for the Sherman S, then you don't need this thermoplastic, because all of these parts cost money and materials and labor, so we can adjust the cost based on what you select. And then I want to do worldwide shipping. Yeah, this form is just going to be updated as I make new features. For example, I really wanted to do piping option around the edges, which looks really cool, and also a pleated diamond or pleats across the top. So that might be an option in the future. Yeah, drop a comment below if that would be something you'd be interested in. All right, so I was originally going to offer budget options, but because I'm making such limited production, I just wanted to make, you know, a good craft product that I'm proud of. And if you want a budget option, you're best off just to DIY, and that way you're really set. Okay, so let's say you've got your new seat. It's time to learn to ride seated. Alrighty, here's a quick seated riding guide for you guys. You just pick up some speed and then plump down. Okay, but if that doesn't work, then let me break down a few tips for you. But yeah, the plop down technique worked for me and my mate. We both learned manual unicycles as a kid, so that really helped with the stability. So if you haven't done that and you don't want to just plop down, let's go through some setup and some drills. So firstly, come to a nice area like this. So wide open car park, nothing to hit, flat ground. And I'd say use concrete over grass, because it's hard to turn and make adjustments on grass. What I would suggest is to remove your front power pads, because you don't want them binding up and you know, capturing your ankle. That's what happened to Rick, and he injured himself learning seated recently. Obviously you need a good seat. If it's too low or slippery, that's going to make it a lot harder to learn seated. Alrighty, and if you got air suspension, you can let that out to lower the pedals a bit. That might help. And you could lower the tire pressure a little bit to give you a bit more stability. So with all that setup done, and you're in your car park, just jump on your wheel. Whoops, I probably shouldn't start seated, that's cheating. Alrighty, so what I'd suggest for drills is you want to practice the crouching motion. So just coming down, and you want to build that muscle memory and stability, because a lot of people get hesitant at this point and go slowly and get wobbles and get scared off. So if you actually just practice, you know, what you're having troubles with, that'll really help. So just go fast enough to get some speed, some stability. I'm not going quick at all, only 12 kilometers an hour here. And then you can start practicing bringing the grab handle. And the reason you want the grab handle is because as you come down, you want to pull the wheel underneath you, because naturally, if you just sit straight down, you're going to fall behind the wheel. Obviously, I can do it all in one motion as a more advanced rider without the use of the grab handle, and that's a little scooch forward. But let's just use the grab handle, come down, pull the wheel under you, let go of the handle, and now hopefully you're riding seated. If you don't want to move that fast, then yeah, just practice the crouching maneuver. So just getting that stability and muscle memory of coming down. So you don't have to even put your weight onto the seat. You can just come right down, practice this position, get that strength up, the stability. Still only going 12 k's an hour. And then, you know, I'm touching the seat here. And then you can come back up. So if you ever get wobbles, you want to get into a tall stance, that's more stable. That was almost difficult going so slow. Just touching the seat, and this is great for getting under trees if you're off-road and under branches. So it's just a good skill to have. Look, you can even come over all the way, just practicing the balance on your EUC. You're going to stand up to get stability around the corner. Now, when you start out, you'll probably have way too much weight on the front of your feet, and that'll really tire out your legs. And then as you get more experienced, you'll transfer less and less, you know, on the feet, more onto the seat. And then it's still, you know, steering with your arms if you want to exaggerate it, leading with your head and your shoulders, and you can wiggle with your hips as well. So you roll the wheel with your hips. If you want to, just back to basics, so just look there, point with your fingers, and the wheel follows. So you're just building up drills. And now what if you get stuck and you can't stop? Well, just bail into some grass if you like, but it's time to stand up, and you don't want to use the handle because that's counterproductive. We want to get into our balanced riding stance quite quickly. So what does that look like? Just up we go, and we're not hunched over, good posture. And you should be able to eventually stop while seated. So what does that look like? We're just leaning back a bit, keeping the wheel balanced, and you can put a foot down. And once you get the skill up, you can just kick off while seated. And you can see my feet are outside the pads, so I don't need to remove the pads. Been practicing a long time, and it's no dramas for me. However, I have set up the pads to be just a smidge looser than being fully locked in. That's so that I can do that good seated transition. Some people have trouble at speeds, and I just wanted to point out that you want to come up into a carve when you're at speed, so just up into a carve here, and that eliminates all the braking wobble issues for me. All right, everyone, hopefully that's helped you, and yeah, check out the Jono Seat if you're interested. Limited 4 batch there. I'll keep it note probably in the video or on the order form how many are available in the batch. So if you're interested, grab one of those. Otherwise, hope you picked up some good tips in this video. Cheers everyone, ride safe, and I'll catch you next time.